and gentlemen, we're moving into something very interesting. This is the Fireside Chat, and we love them because it's definitely getting up close and personal and understanding what the speaker has to say. And today, the topic is daring to be different, traversing the Indian OH landscape. And we now welcoming on the stage to take us into the fireside chat, we have Mr. Rajiv Raghunath, who's going to join us on stage, lead the fireside chat. Welcome, Rajiv, ladies and gentlemen. And the spotlight is on someone who has over 35 years of experience in business development, strategy, corporate finance, investor relations, M&A, and supply chain management. Ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to have with us this morning CEO, Times Innovative Media. Please welcome Mr. Shekhar Narayanaswami. Good morning.
Welcome, Shekhar. So wonderful to have you here and have this opportunity to have this conversation with you. The way you sprinted to the stage said a lot about your own fitness, so that's great. Along with the fitness of the company, you are maintaining your high fitness level for yourself as well. Well, I do know for a fact that you're a chartered accountant by profession, and that you worked with several big companies such as Coke, Airtel, and others, and then you forayed into the OH space. My personal experience and perceptions of a lot of other people, when it comes to chartered accountants, they don't believe much in emotions. They just operate on cold logic. With that kind of a mindset, I do not know whether I've read you correctly, whether you also are like that. What made you really come into OH, which by and large, maybe a lot of emotions and, well, about figures and cold logic. I'd like to hear from you.
Well, it's not really something that was planned. So I was after Airtel, I was in the Middle East for some time, and was trying to get back into India, and this was the first job that came about. So that's the honest answer.
Well, interesting. I think, but it was a good turn of, you turned a new leaf with that, I
Yes,
guess.
it has been. It's been a wonderful journey. Thank you.
Well, what's very interesting is that you've been almost right there, the beginning of Times OH journey in India, right from its inception. Almost you joined almost just after
2008. Yeah.
2008. You joined Times OH, and it's been an incredible journey for Times OH, which arguably is the largest Indian OH entity, and with a pan-India presence. But we do know for a fact that in our country, all the markets are governed by multiple ad norms. Some of them are pretty conflicting. And then also to operate in a market which is quite fragmented and, if some may describe it as rather unorganized. You've come up in a very different way as an organization, very corporatized. And what was the journey like on a landscape where you had very few benchmarks to go with? You had to set the standards, and how easy or difficult was that journey?
It wasn't easy, for sure. So if I were to split this thing into parts, then I would probably put it into three parts. The first part, I joined in 2008. I mean, just before the global financial crisis, and we had just gotten investments from Lehman and Goldman, and we were just we were gearing up to expand. At that point in time, we said that we must position ourselves differently. So our positioning was very unconventional. So when 80% of the market was billboards, we decided to be not in billboards. So that was the first step that we took. We felt that we'd like to be in a place where you have long-term contracts, you're able to determine price, you are able to offer quality. In billboards, unfortunately, solution selling uh, even if you wanted to try to do solution selling, it could very quickly degenerate into a per square foot discussion.
True.
So that's something that we did not want to do. So we focused on transit, and we began with Delhi and Mumbai airport. That has been great. The second part I would say is that was learning, adapting, and so learning and adapting. So you could say that immediately after GFC, we realized that getting the downsides of getting stuck in MG contracts, minimum guarantee contracts, and that was the learning which told us that you should be in revenue share. So we were smart enough to exit. We are not emotionally attached. We are smart enough to exit contracts which was not making us money. And now we are in the expanding phase, consolidating and expanding. We work towards de-risking our portfolios. Uh, we uh, we have been known to be an airport advertisement company. So we have tried to change that a bit, because in COVID we realized that the airports were closed but the cities were open. So we wanted to de-risk our portfolio. And also, if you have to grow, then your canvas needs to be wider than India.
Right, right, absolutely. One of the factors that you mentioned in conversation before we came on stage is that you mentioned about the financial meltdown period in which you took some very strategic decisions, and also during the COVID period as well. So, what is the what are the key takeaways from situations like that? I mean, you couldn't have expected these kind of events to happen, but when you do that, how do you prepare for them, and how do you kind of bring about that entire organizational change to gear up for that particular business?
Nothing really prepares you for an event like COVID-19.
So true.
GFC, if GFC was X, then COVID was 4X.
Right.
So we had some learnings from the GFC. So we have always been very conscious about cost. And in my earlier role, I was the CFO for this company for the longest time. So cost consciousness has been part of the DNA, and it's been driven across the organization. The organization also is generally cost conscious. When you're cost conscious and you are careful to get into contracts, which in OH they say that profitability comes out of getting the contract at the right price.
Absolutely.
And so we have been very careful in our contract acquisitions. Airports have been good. You have long term, you have price control, you have revenue share arrangements, uh, and one thing that we always, people pay for quality. So we have never deterred from investing in high quality media, high quality people, and high quality prices also.
Absolutely. You touched upon a point on which I had a question. In fact, just a short while back, Melanie mentioned about the importance of having quality media. Now, how do you balance creating the quality standards for your media assets which you have versus the cost that you have to manage and offer your media at prices that are acceptable to the brands and buyers? How do you do that?
So while I say that we do not compromise on quality, it doesn't mean that we have to buy it at the highest price. So we have very robust commercial processes by which we have reverse auctions and to drive down the price as much as possible. When we say quality for the right product, price for the right product may be higher, but then the rest. So if we think that another option, a Chinese option, would be available cheaper, we would rather invest in something that would sustain for a longer period. So cost consciousness is there, but then when you look at cost, you don't look at short term, you look at long term.
Absolutely, I think very well put. But when we talk about times of which we do know that it comes out of, it's part of a very large media group. So the strategy, the vision, it would have also come out of the larger vision that the media group has. But out here in this industry, and for the people who are gathered in this hall particularly, many of them have actually ventured out first time perhaps into a business and got into OH. Now, for entrepreneurs and people who have set up their media owning business, how would they approach, or how would you recommend that they should approach with regard to establishing quality media with a longer term vision in a regulatory environment that you are very familiar with?
I would say that when you stay within the law, then the cost of managing not being in the law is probably in a long term higher than being within the law. So uh, for somebody, if your question is how is it that somebody who starts afresh, how do they do it? What was
Yes,
it?
Shekhar, my question is that when someone ventures out in this industry to set up media assets, uh, you could probably, I mean, and when the expectation is that it should be high quality, but there's always this concern that if I were to invest so much and develop those kind of media assets, would I actually be able to sell that to the brands and buyers who are expecting the rates to be uh, much lower than what is being offered?
Right. So the pricing pressures will always be there because people would compare. This is an industry that has got used to 40/20, 20/10 kind of a lingo, and in that, if if I would suggest that if people were to get into this, I would suggest that it should be something of a PPP kind of a project, which it's you don't exist only for advertisement. You are also there to do some benefit to the city that you are living in.
Absolutely. I think that is one trajectory that many companies would want to board, and that really is like partnering the government in establishing public infrastructure and facilitating citizen services delivery,
Right.
right? Okay, but that said, you as an organization have now gone into the billboard space while you focused a lot on the iconic structures initially and airport media. But now you have gone into the billboard space. So tell us, help us understand that what is that mindset shift that got you to the billboards now? And are you really able to establish and conduct media in that particular space with the same rigor with which you have done your business in the transit space?
Okay. So let me put it this way. It's not as if we were completely absent from the billboard space. Our focus was higher on the airports transit segment. But as I told you, every adversity and every crisis teaches you something. So they say never waste a good crisis. So one of the learnings was that when airports were closed, metros were closed, cities were open. There was business happening, OH business happening outside of the airports, but not inside airports. So that was one learning for us to try and diversify our portfolio and de-risk our business portfolio. So, having said that, would I go and acquire one disparate, option of one billboard in South Extension market? Maybe the answer is no. So, our foray into billboards has been more focused on digital. So we would like to provide a solution, a network solution, rather than a disparate option to. And when you have a diversified portfolio, you can give a diversified option. And also, we found that from the past, billboards. Okay, we were probably the first to have put in digital billboards in 2008 when I joined. We had put it on mall facades in the airports, etc. But the market was not ready for it. So we felt like Mohammed Tughlaq ahead of his time, and You wouldn't believe it that in the Mumbai airport we had a digital billboard that didn't sell at all, and finally it began selling when we covered it with the flex.
Okay, Shekhar, you're pretty much aware, like all of us are, about the current regulatory environment when it comes to billboards in India. In that kind of an environment, how can you do your business with billboards without worrying about the future?
We wherever we are, we have made sure that uh, the quality standard norms, the strength of the sites, etc., are protected. So I recall a time when we are now operating DND again. There was a time we used to manage Delhi Noida direct flyway, and there was a big storm, and all the billboards that were on the agricultural land, okay, they were all they got uprooted, but our billboards didn't fall. So we pay a lot of attention to structural strength and quality, and I think that is something that everyone needs to do. We shouldn't have Ghatkopar kind of instances again.
So you would say that if the organizations are very compliant with regard to the safety standards and regulations, there really should not be any major challenge with regard to doing business in that particular space, right? Which is why you are
Yes.
already there. Well, you have also,
I just want to add one more thing to that. We have even when we buy media for clients through our trading arm, which we now call Times One,
right.
we try and ensure that the vendor has legal media.
Oh, fantastic. That's really great. Uh, Times of which is also among the pioneers in when it comes to digital out of home media in India. So, how do you read the trajectory of DOH business in India, and how much are you invested in that?
As I told you, we were ahead of our times, but again, we continue to invest in the future. If you look at any of our media plan for any property, our digital investment would be between 25 to 40% of our media sites would be digital. That's the way the market is moving, and that's the way it should. Uh, I will give you an interesting episode that in Coimbatore Airport, as soon as you come out in the arrivals, there were four billboards, and or rather four large sites, and one of them never sold. It was priced at about 5 lakhs or something, and it never sold. So what we did was, just as an experiment, we rented, digital panels and converted that to a digital. And bingo, we had about 6 clients on it, and we were earning more than 7 lakhs a month. So, so there is a market. So if you are able to provide the right kind of price point for that market, Coimbatore market, people were willing to pay 1.5 lakhs to you, but not 5 lakhs for a site. So they don't mind sharing the site. So it is in our mind that we feel that a client is unwilling to share the site, but then the market is moving. There are still some clients who would not want to share, but that's fine. I mean, it takes all kinds to make the world.
Fantastic. Are you bullish about DOH in India versus how DOH has come up in some of the other markets overseas? And second is, again, a lot of the people who are participating in this convention are also looking at investing in DOH assets in a much bigger way, and some have already moved in that particular direction. Drawing lessons from your own experience, what is it that you'd like to share with the audience with regard to the things that you need to watch out for when you're going into DOH media investments?
So DOH is moving in very interesting ways. You must have digital options. The market is slowly and steadily moving towards digital. Uh, while there is the jury is still out whether programmatic will cannibalize the OH business. My answer is that it doesn't. The budget is coming out of the digital budget, and you should be there. You should invest in digital, invest in good quality, invest. I mean, strengthen your sites, make it safe. You know, as a my advice to people would be that you should have security health, environment at the base of whatever you do.
Right. Well, we are nearly running out of time. I had so many more questions for you, Shekhar, but my final question would be that you have operations overseas, but are you really planning to step that up? And will we get to see an Indian OH company doing business across geographical boundaries?
Yes. So Mauritius was not just a by the way acquisition. So Mauritius airport was a strategic move to expand into overseas markets in the Middle East and Africa. It happened just before COVID. COVID put the brakes on it, but then we would now accelerate our efforts towards that. It's a great airport, great market, and we would expand into the rest of the world because, as I told you, if our vision is to be a 5,000 crore company in maybe by 2030. Well, that's a that's an audacious goal, but still it won't be achieved just by focusing on India.
5,000 crore by 2020. And we are talking about 4,000 crore Indian OH business. So you know what the opportunity is looking like. I think 10,000 crore estimate for the Indian OH would actually be an underestimation. But fantastic having this conversation with you, Shekhar. Amazing time here. And we are ready for the questions now. Over to Keisha.
Thank you so much. Well, you're right. I think the questions still want to be answered. So we're going to request Mr. Anirban Paul Chaudhary from Skipper Pipes to join us on stage. You've got the questions ready. Please join us. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anirban Paul Chaudhary.
You can take this mic.
Got quite a few questions. The first one is from Kishore Kannan, Ad in Advertising Services Private Limited. He asks, Times Innovative Media has been a trailblazer in the Indian OH industry.
What's it be?
Times
OH
Innovative
Media
Media has been a trailblazer in the Indian OH industry. Could you share a pivotal moment or a decision where daring to be different led to a breakthrough, innovation or success that reshaped how Times approaches OH advertising today? Is there any breakthrough innovation that has happened?
No, innovation, if Times OH, the name of the legal entity name is Times Innovative Media Limited. So innovation is there in our DNA. We have done this probably, as they say, if it is not in the Mahabharata, then it is not anywhere else. So if we have not done it, maybe it's not been done. So we have done all kinds of innovation, but I think if the biggest differentiation for us, I'm very proud to say this, is our people. I think we have the best team, and they bring about the difference.
Okay, thank you. But he asked for one pivotal moment, which you think has led to.
Pivotal moment would have been COVID-19, where we immediately after that, when we recovered from that, we doubled revenues every year, and then in 2023 we grew over 10% of the pre-COVID numbers, and in 2024 we grew 32% over 2023.
Wow, phenomenal. The second question is from Nabindu, Idea Cafe.
Nabindu again.
Nabindu asks, Shekhar, in your experience, how can one grow the pie in the OH industry from reported 4% to 10 to 15%?
Okay, so different markets have different OH, percentage in the pie. So if you look at Mauritius, OH is about 35% of the Mauritius market.
Right.
So how it can grow? I think in terms of revenue, you will be able to increase revenues through the digital foray. So I think this is not something that you can wish away. It's happening, and we must embrace it with with caution. But then we should embrace it.
Okay, thank you. The last one is from Ritik Raj from Add On More. In your opinion, what is or are the most essential factors to consider as breaking points when deciding to adopt to something new or phase out some traditional media?
Sorry.
What are the essential factors to consider breaking points when deciding to adopt something new or phase out traditional media?
In digital.
In traditional methods.
In traditional. So you should allow people to make mistakes. You should experiment on new things. There will be things that you will make mistakes on. So that you should allow. And if you know that you made a mistake, you should have the strength to admit it and move on. We have done that. We have made some wrong acquisitions. We were not emotionally attached to it. We exited it when we felt that. And I always say this: if you have to succeed in the OH industry, it's like watching a movie with subtitles. You know, where you have one eye on the top line and one eye on the bottom line too.
Nicely put. Thank you so much.
You have to select one question from the three.
I'd pick the last one, the one that.
One by Ritik Raj, Add On More.
Congratulations. One question and you walk away with 10,000 rupees. How lucky are you? Well, we've got please join us, sir, center stage. Can we please have Anirban and Shekhar and Rajiv joining in as we congratulate the winner. The Q&A powered by MSMA. Ladies and gentlemen, join our winner in celebrating, walking away with 10,000 rupees. And we've got a beautiful memento as well that we'd like to present to Mr. Shekhar Narayanaswami, doing us the honors. Rajiv, if you will join the photograph, sir. You can definitely see that you've got an amazing team. Of course, the